time to ask a question or two, and let me start off while we're waiting for some of the questions to come in. This is the Spring13 release, which means what do you have to do? I mean, it's not like you have software that sits on a server in your back office somewhere that you got to get around to upgrading. So it's automatically going to get upgraded for you. Is that correct, or do you have to raise your hand and say, okay, I'm ready?
Yeah, BMC is not going to automatically upgrade you. Most of you, if you're a Remedyforce customer, you probably have seen an email come from BMC announcing the Spring13 release and just giving you the option of calling into support and scheduling that. And so once you will have to contact BMC support to get the update applied to your org. But once that has occurred, they will apply that to a sandbox environment or go straight to production. That's entirely up to you and what your upgrade process is that you define internally to your organization. But point being is that it's done for you. You know, you're not having to pay a consulting firm like RightStar to do the upgrade for you. You're not having to even experience any downtime for that matter. The upgrade typically takes anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. It really just depends upon the size and the number of records you've got in your database and so forth. But it is a very straightforward upgrade that BMC will do for you, and again, you won't experience any downtime.
Okay, so the downtime
contact support, the BMC support organization, and schedule that upgrade to happen.
Right. Now, if you had made some non-standard, maybe let's say that you had a Force.com developer, maybe they had made some modifications or some customizations, I would assume that if BMC then tries to do the upgrade, that might not work too well if you've done something non-standard then to the product. Is that right?
Actually, no. If you've made some modifications like add a new object, which is akin to a table or a module, if you've added a new object or added new fields, those are things that are not a problem at all. Where sometimes customers might get into a little bit of an issue is if they have custom Apex code, which Apex code is the proprietary programming language that is supported by Force.com. Those are the only situations that you may have to make some adjustments to your Apex code for things to work as you'd expect. But just adding fields, adding objects, and adding workflow rules and those types of things, approval processes, those are all things that will upgrade very easily.
Okay. We are starting to get some. Yeah, but before we get to those, I just had a couple of others, and I think we have plenty of time. But one of the things I noticed, there was a box that said license and storage usage. I think that was from the admin console. And I would suspect that would keep track of how many licenses are in use. But how about the storage side of it? Is there a limit in terms of disk space that, like if you have attachments, that you're allowed to have, or?
That is a fair question, and yes, you are limited to the amount of data because it is being stored in the clouds. But I will say a couple of things. One, I've yet to see a customer that has to upgrade and purchase more storage. It does do a significant amount of compression to the data, so I think most organizations will be quite amazed at how very little space they actually consume that's related to their org. So, but yes, I mean, if you're attaching, a number of very large files, which by the way on attachments you're limited to 5 meg, I believe it is. Yeah, it is 5 meg. But if you're attaching, thousands and thousands of 5 meg files, then yeah, you may run out of space sooner than other organizations that may not have that many attachments.
Okay, so it's not something you really have to worry about then. Okay.
I have, like I said, we've got some large implementations, and I've yet to see a customer need to purchase additional space. And and as far as the details, that is published on. It's very well published on the Force.com platform, and we can certainly send that out if anyone has questions related to that. I do see Alan Brown had a question in terms of the actual release date. Well, Alan, it's actually, the product is available and ready for you today. It was released May 13th, so at any point in time you're ready to do the upgrade, contact the BMC support, and they will work with you and schedule that out for you. Okay? Then Sue has asked, how easy is it to load the configuration items? Can it be uploaded from an Excel spreadsheet? And to answer your question, yes. It's quite easy to upload data. There is a utility that comes with the Force.com platform, and it is the data loader. So you can very easily load data from Excel spreadsheets or CSV files, those types of things. Greg asked, did they make any changes to the mobile interface for technicians? At this time, there are no modifications to the mobile interface that I am aware of. They are moving towards the new mobile platform that I would expect to see, fairly soon. That's the but as of right now, the mobile is the same UI and capabilities. And let's see here. I want to make sure I'm not. Okay, Sue asked again, if you're using another system, can you transfer those tickets and knowledge documents into Remedy? Yes, we can do that. It's a discussion that I've had with regarding many different tools. It's not a matter of can we do it. It's going to be really a matter, is it really enough value for you to do that within your organization? Meaning, is the data in your other system, is it worth the level of effort to bring that in? And can it be done? I mean, it absolutely can. And in terms of the level of effort, it really depends upon the complexity of your existing environment. Are we going to need to recreate, a number of fields that maybe you had custom in your existing system, those types of things? But those are discussions that, we can have one-on-one, and I can give you a better answer once I have a little bit, better understanding of your environment and what you're coming from. But yes, there's no technical reason why we can't import attachments and those types of things. Are there training courses on how to make small changes in the application, like adding and removing fields? One of the things at RightStar, although we are a consultancy firm and a large portion of our revenue does come from professional services, we are smart enough to realize that a happy customer is a customer that's going to stay with us for a long time. And so we really believe that, teaching you to fish is an important element to that. And so as part of any of our implementation, we always suggest that there is a knowledge transfer that occurs, and part of that knowledge transfer would be to do some of those basic administrative functions. Now, there's always additional trainings that you can attend that are more specific to the Force.com platform, so you can always, attend those classes and get more in-depth knowledge and understanding of the platform that apply to not only Remedyforce but anything on the Force.com platform. But yes, as part of our implementation projects, we would recommend a knowledge transfer of administrative training and giving you a basic introduction to those types of things. Would like to see how it might be customized as well as the process of creating an incident. So, yeah, I can certainly show you some of that. So in terms of, creating an incident, if I go to my incident console here, well, one, I can just create new. And understand to the audience, this is really intended to be primarily a what's new. At any point in time, if you want to see a more in-depth demonstration, please contact your RightStar account manager, and we'll gladly set up a one-on-one presentation with you. But at this point, let's say that I've got an incident that I want to register for Dawn. For those of you that, in the past, when registering an incident, struggled with how you would select a category, I think you'll find this much easier to use. So in this case, I've got an issue with my laptop, so I'm going to select that laptop, identify what the description is. Laptop is slow. And then from there we can identify things like request definitions, if there's a broadcast that we want to link it to, those types of things. But in this case, maybe it's a new hire, what have you, or actually it'd be just an incident, so there is no request definition. And then in terms of impact, we might select the impact, this being a low impact, and no, and then we'll go ahead and save this. So this is one option of creating an incident. If you prefer to see the full screen, you can do that by just expanding that top section. So again, if you'd like to see more detailed demonstration on that, then you can absolutely do that. So who makes the customizations? Well, you'd absolutely have the ability, each of the customers do have the ability to customize the product themselves. And certainly if you are not confident in that and would like assistance, then RightStar does have remote administration services or consultancy services that we would gladly do that for you. But again, we would prefer our customers learn and educate themselves so that they can do that type of stuff themselves. Does Remedyforce have to be in the cloud, or can it be hosted virtually? It is a cloud-based solution, 100%. So unfortunately, it is cloud-based. However, if you're wanting an on-premise solution or simply a hosted solution, there are alternatives such as Footprints, Service Core, and even Remedy or Remedy on Demand. So, but Remedyforce is a cloud-based solution, being that it has been developed on the Force.com platform. And what can you look at with mobile? Incidents, requests, etc. Yes, you absolutely have the ability to create incidents, changes. Quite frankly, that is configurable to the extent that you want to do that. And I apologize, but I'm not actually set up to show the mobile on this demonstration. And so with that, can you modify fields available on incident request, etc. screens? Yes, you absolutely can do that, and that is all configurable. So it's just a matter of going into the appropriate administrative function, and if we look here under Create Objects, we can see all the objects or all the tables, if you will, that are in the database. And at this point, if we scroll down, we can see our incident object, for example. And with that, I can customize the fields that are associated to this object. I can create approval processes. I can define the page layouts, all that type of stuff. Okay? And I think that was all the questions that I had in the Q&A. So with that, anything else? Dick, did I miss any questions that were out there?
I don't think so. I think you kind of hit everything. I had one final question then, and maybe you could just say a couple of words about how you would integrate with a discovery product such as Asset Core or SCCM then.
Sure, yeah. A fair question. So obviously BMC, they do have out-of-the-box integrations with the Footprints Asset Core, which we saw some of the capability that you'd be able to perform from an incident or from a CI record in the CMDB. And that's just a matter of configuring that integration. When you start getting outside of the realm of BMC products, we absolutely support data integrations with tools like SCCM, but to the extent of being able to execute an on-demand inventory or a remote control session from within the incident, that would not exist. But you would absolutely have the ability to bring data from SCCM, Landesk, Altiris, whatever the tool might be, and push that to the configuration management database. And we typically would do that with Pentaho, which is it's a third-party open source solution that allows us to take on-premise data and push that to the cloud in something like Remedyforce.